Hi guys, welcome to the channel. So today I have a couple visitors with me because this little dude has to be fed every 4 hours. So we brought him in and he's making his debut on the vlog channel for the first video. As you can see, the name's different because I wanted to include our family because we are a family of 3. It's not just me and Tanner, and it's not just me. So we included them. It's called The Young Life. And it's just going to be all about us, vlogs, videos, stuff I do, stuff he does, Riker growing up. But today I wanted to film our birth story because I did an Instagram poll and everyone voted on birth story. So I brought him with me today because I'm gonna say what happened throughout the whole thing, and then I want him to give his point of view of his experience of it, not just mine. But we went in to Portneuf on October 2nd or 1st?
2nd.
On October 2nd, my grandpa's birthday, and he wanted Riker to be born so bad on October 2nd. Like, so bad. He wanted to have a birthday twin. I don't know why. We wanted Riker to have his own birthday, and his due date was the 26th, and that's the same date as a bunch of his family's birthdays. And we didn't want that. We wanted him to have his own special day where he gets to be celebrated the whole day. So I was 40 weeks and 6 days when we went in to be induced. And we went in, and the days leading up to this, I had no Braxton Hicks contractions. My water didn't break. My mucus plug didn't come out. I had no signs of labor. None. Like, he didn't want to come out. I was really high. I never dropped. Nothing. So we went in at 7:30 on October 2nd, which we were supposed to go in at 5:30, but they had a bunch of babies being born, so we went in at 7:30, which drove him nuts because he wanted to be in there having this baby, as I did, but, you know, babies come when they come, and if you're scheduled, then they move it. So we went in and got checked in. I changed into my gown, and they started my IV, and they came in after I got all that done, my family arrived. My mom and my brother, and then a little while later, my grandparents showed up, which was great. I mean, we had some company.
Your dad was there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, I said my parents.
Oh, I thought you just said your mom and your dad.
No.
Anyways.
But they came and were hanging out with us. At 8:15, the nurse came in to put Cervidil, put it in. So I'm not going to be graphic with it. When you're pregnant and if you have to be induced, you'll find out what it is, but it's a little pill. That's what Cervidil is, and they insert it. I'm not going to get graphic because this is a family channel, but they did that, and then they left. And so I was laboring. I started having light contractions, and then they got progressively stronger, which was great. It to me meant that something was happening, but my water hadn't broke yet. So while I was contracting, of course, my family was having a party. Me and Tanner were over there laboring, being serious, and my family was on the other end having a party, scooting each other across the room in chairs and stuff, hitting into walls, just having a big old party, which was great because, I mean, it took my mind off of the contractions, but it still didn't make me happy because I wanted to be having fun too, but instead I was trying to have a baby. But Tanner went over a little while later. This was a few hours after I started Cervidil. Looked at Riker's heart monitor, and it had dropped drastically, like in the 90s, wasn't it? And then all of a sudden went back up to normal. And his was about 140, 150 range of heartbeat. And Tanner was like, oh, well, I guess he's okay because it went back up. Well, 10 minutes after he had checked on that, a flood, no, I'm not even joking, a flood of nurses came in, looked at me, and said, you need to get on your hands and knees on your belly. And I looked at him and I was like, okay. They gave me an oxygen mask, and I was up on my knees holding onto the back of the bed, my butt facing my family, breathing into an oxygen mask, and the room was silent. My mom came over, like the fun had stopped because something was wrong. Well, I was freaking out inside because one, they just barged in, they didn't tell us what was happening. We had no idea what was going on. So then, after everything had calmed down, the nurse said, Riker's heart is dropping with every contraction. So we need you to be on your hands and knees with some oxygen. So I did that for about 45 minutes, and they came back and asked me to lay on my sides, like alternate when I got uncomfortable to move to the other side. And then about an hour later, they came back in and they stopped my contractions with the Cervidil. They gave me a shot in the leg to stop it because it was a pill, so you have to stop it with another form of medication. So they stopped them.
Because of Riker's heart rate.
Yeah, it was still having problems.
It was bad and nerve-wracking for all of us. Even that doctors were
very concerned because they'd sit out there and they'd watch it because they have monitors out there to check on baby and me. Well, the nurse that came in and did that said that in a little while they'd be back to start something else when Riker was okay and stable enough to start something else. So at about, midnight? They came back in and started Cytotec. And what that is like, not really shoelacy, but it's like a thick band that they stick up. And I'm not going to get any more graphic than that, but it's what that is to help start you. So I continued to lay on my sides and was trying to sleep. I mean, I got some hours of sleep, but it wasn't crazy a lot. Like, everybody says you need to try and sleep as much as you can while you're contracting. You will not get very much sleep if you're contracting and having contractions. Like, it's just not a thing. Like,
and neither will your husband.
No,
or
especially with the bed he was on, it was not comfortable at all.
At all. Not just that, it was also because I was also nervous and worried about them too. More than just sleeping anyway. So.
My mom had stayed. My dad left and went home. Everybody went home. But my mom stayed for 2 days? 2 full days with us. So this first night, she was there, staying with us, making sure we were okay, getting us what we needed. And she was an overly excited grandma, so of course she's going to stay. But then at about 4 a.m., I was up for the day. So from 12 a.m. to 4, I maybe got 2.5, 3-ish hours of sleep because I was getting up to go to the bathroom because I had an IV drip of water because I couldn't have anything. So obviously I was getting up and down to go pee. Well, I got up at 4, went to the bathroom, and I decided to sit on the medicine ball, which I had been doing off and on, but because of him having trouble, I couldn't do it. And he was stable, so I decided to sit on the medicine ball, and everybody else was up with me. Like, they woke up a short time after I did. So I was bouncing on the medicine ball, and I kid you not even 10 minutes later, the nurse had come in and told me to get back in bed and lay on my sides because he was having trouble again. Which sucked because I wanted to be in labor. I wanted to have this baby. I was so ready for him to come. And I knew that one way or another, he was coming out regardless. I wasn't taking any chances. And so the nurse also told me that at about noon, they'd check me to see how much I was dilated. Because when I went in, I was 0 centimeters dilated. I was 0% effaced. Like, I wasn't doing anything at all. Like, there was nothing. And so I continued to lay on my sides, but at 6 a.m., they came in and told me that they were taking out the Cytotec and they were going to check me. They checked me and I still was nothing. Like, well, they didn't take the Cytotec out. They just checked me. And which was devastating. Or no, at 6 a.m. they did come in and take the Cytotec out because the midwife asked to. But, which was devastating because I was so ready to have this baby. I thought I had been progressing super fast, like, just all the things. But sadly, that wasn't the case. And then at about 8:15, finally the midwife comes in and says, your baby's not doing good with us trying to induce you. Would you like to have a C-section? And my mom had been rooting for that the whole time. She came in and she said, Sierra, you're going to have a C-section. I just know it. And I was like, you know what, we'll see what happens. Probably not. I'll probably have him naturally, which I didn't really care, natural or not. My mom had C-sections, so it wasn't anything scary to me to have a C-section. The only thing I really was afraid of was the needle in my spine. That's really all I was scared of. And she said, let's have a C-section. And of course I said yes, because I was ready. I was ready to have this baby. So
I think we all were at this point.
Yeah, we were. And so we started, they prepped me, and before all this, I had signed all the paperwork for a C-section because they had a feeling that's where it might go. So I had all of that signed at 4 in the morning, and they just had to prep me and prep Tanner, get his gown on and everything. So they asked me if I wanted to be wheeled down in the bed or if I wanted to walk. And I wanted to walk because it was my last time having a bump, last time having my child in my belly. I wanted to be able to walk with that belly one more time and walk with Tanner hand in hand down there. I went into the room. Tanner had to stay out. He couldn't be in there with me when I got my epidural. Well, it wasn't epidural. It was a spinal block. Like, from the chest down, I was numb. And that wasn't bad. The only thing that was weird was when they shot in the stuff, it just did like a snake slither up my back and made me shiver. And that was about it. That was the numbing medicine. And then they did the tap and I was fine. However, we got in there and I was nauseous. Like, I got to the point where I thought I was going to throw up and I was choking out the words, I'm going to throw up. I never threw up because I didn't have anything in my system, but the doctor gave me some nausea medicine. And finally, which felt like forever, Tanner came in, and about 5 minutes later, Riker was out. He didn't cry at first. All they said was, he's out. And they lifted him over the thing, and all I saw was the top of his forehead. So just a bloody top of a head. So I had no idea what my child looked like. No idea if he was okay, because he wasn't crying. And then finally, it was probably 30 seconds that he wasn't crying. He finally cried. And that was phenomenal to me. I was so excited. I was also very loopy, and so it didn't really hit me. I was crying, but I wasn't like in shock. It was just tears because, you know, medicine does weird things to you. And at 9:08, this little chunk was born, 8 pounds, 6 ounces on October 3rd. So my grandpa didn't get a twin birthday, but he gets a day after. So, I mean,
it's close enough.
It was close enough. It was probably the best experience I've ever had. I as a first-time mom, I would do it all over again. Probably not the experience like that with him having trouble because it was terrifying, but I'd definitely do it all over again. And we're going to have some more kids, probably one more. So, I mean, I get to do it again, but I was very thrilled with how healthy he was and just the way he looked. He grew phenomenally and was very healthy, and so that was a plus. Nothing was wrong with him when he came out. His heart was fine. He did have a heart murmur, but that's gone away now. Like, he's grown out of that, so it's perfectly fine. But
it's a normal, I guess, they said that to have one, and because I guess there's a lot of them. Her mom, her dad all said that they had a heart murmur, so it was.
My dad still has one.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's nothing wrong with him. It's just there. Like, it's just one of those things. But what was your experience like? Because I mean, I shared mine, but
it was scary. I mean, it was scary when his heart rate went down because
you witnessed it. You saw it on the monitor, and you looked at me like, oh my gosh. And then it was fine until you're like, oh, it's nothing. So you didn't tell me at first.
But I also didn't want to tell him, and be like, oh, you know, something's wrong. Mm-hmm. Something's going on with...
Because I was already stressed enough because I wasn't having a baby. I wasn't progressing. So I was very stressed. And so that would have added to it. So I'm grateful that he kind of kept it under wraps. But at the same time, I'm like, you should have told me because then I would have been prepared for the nurses flooding in. But, I mean, it turned out good anyway, so...
Yeah, it was... I mean, other than that, when she was laying on the bed, laying there and just getting ready to cut her open. It was. I was just trying to focus on her because I'm not good with blood, and they were pumping her stomach out, and they had the pump right next to her head, and I was seeing all the blood, and it was gross, but it was yeah, and you know it was nerve wracking because he came out and you know she said he wasn't screaming, wasn't making any noise, and all of a sudden his first cry is just louder than loud, and I'll never forget that because it was.
You instantly become relieved when you hear them cry. Like,
Yeah.
I always thought that was just a myth as a parent. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal. But not hearing them cry when they come out is terrifying because that means something's seriously wrong. And so, when you go in and have a baby, like, that's the first thing you look for. Oh, no. Did we run out of the food? Did we run out of the food for you, her and Smiley? Can you say hi to everyone? But this little chunk of joy is 5 months tomorrow. Obviously, he's healthy as a horse. So any of you that want to mommy shame me for formula, yeah, don't, because he's fed, he's healthy, and fed is best. Boob is great, but so is formula. And I'm not going to have that argument because he's fine.
Look at his big old belly. He's healthy.
But he
Look
is
at
so
that.
healthy and so happy.
Look at those chunky cheekers. He's a big boy.
I love you. Yes, I do. And another moment for me was when they were like, "Okay, we're gonna prep you for the C-section," and I was trying so hard to stay calm for him because I knew if I was like freaking out, he'd start to freak out. So I was like, "Just stay calm." But in my head, I was like, "Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!" There it is. But I mean, other than that, I was fine, and I could tell he was stressed. He was nervous when they said we're gonna have a C-section. I mean, it was great, but at the same time, he was nervous. But I mean, Riker's here. He's healthy. Greatest joy in the world. Big blue eyes. So handsome. Yeah. Super happy. Super playful. And I couldn't be more blessed with the cutest boys in the world. Huh. Yeah. But I'm grateful. He just needs to start growing hair now. That's all we want is just some hair on his head. So, but thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any other videos that we post, especially with this little chunk of joy, because there's going to be tons. Please like this video, give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and comment down below. Let us know what you want to see. Just comment. We'd love to have you join our little group and be a part of the Young family, because I mean, we're the Youngs.
Forever young.
Yeah, so go ahead and join us. But that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.
Bye.